All right, what's good? What's going on, people? How y'all doing? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? DBNK. Some do say debunk. That do be my name, y'all. This right here is Excalibur Clock In episode 2. If you ain't seen one, just dig into my videos. You'll find it somewhere in there. Anyways, this is episode 2, Clock In, right? Excalibur, right? This is all we do is talk Arsenal over here, right? You want to talk basketball? We'll be here tomorrow. Not here. We'll be on our basketball Laker platform here. I might just do a watch along the Lakers Nets game. So like if you want to look at that, I'll be on. I'll be on in like about what 8 hours, 8 hours, 7 8 hours, right? We'll be on against Brooklyn Nets. We in Brooklyn today. We in Brooklyn today. Brooklyn in the house. Anyways, besides the point, I'm getting carried away. TBNK. Listen, what am I doing today? I'm here. We're gonna be reacting to the Gary Neville podcast, right? So we're gonna just do a few reactions because he said a few things that I want to react to, right? I want to react to. Said a few things I want to react to, some interesting things, and then after that we're gonna go straight to the full post match. Not no. Not there's a clip from that Super Sunday post match show that I want us to just react to as well, right? But listen, I'm happy. There's things to celebrate despite our break breaking down. Should I call it breaking down? Despite our monumental collapse since the January transfer window, which Mikel Arteta wants nothing to do with right now. He ain't trying to talk about that. They asking him. He's just walking away from interviews, right? So besides all the negatives that Arsenal Football Club has had lately, injuries included, the one good thing, Andrea Berto, welcome to Arsenal Football Club. You're not yet confirmed, but listen, I think you're in. I think you're in. So, welcome to Arsenal. I'm excited about that signing. This is actually our best signing since 2 summers ago, right? This is our best signing since 2 summers ago because the last summer we got Merino, Calafi, Sterling, Nobeto, Neto. We got them four players in, and guess what? None of them are starters or even capable. When the whole squad is fit, yo, listen, when the whole squad is fit, none of those guys make the first 11, and that's disappointing for you. For your summer transfer window that's supposed to have you kick on and build and hopefully have you bring in a missing piece into your starting 11 that you did not have the year before. That missing piece this summer, by the way, should have been a center forward, but Mikel Arteta, he put all his cards on Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus, and here we are now. No Kai Havertz, no Gabriel Jesus, no Bukayo Saka for that matter, right? Martinelli, thank God he just came back because I say thank God, but it don't matter now because we 15 points off of the Premier League, top of the Premier League. We know 15 points behind Liverpool, who are gonna win that, right? So it is what it is. But Andrea Berta, welcome to Arsenal Football Club. I'm really glad because you know what Andrea Berta will bring to Arsenal Football Club? What Andrea Berta will bring to Arsenal Football Club is, for starters, Arsenal Football Club is not the best at selling footballers, right? Maybe, okay, towards the end of Edu's tenure, he did a good job with Granit Xhaka. He did a good job with what's his name? Edin Nketiah. He did a decent job with ESR. He did another decent job with who was the other one? Okay, let me just leave it at that. Those three guys, he got some decent money in for those three guys. We were not expecting that kind of money. But now what really excites me about Andrea Berta, right? Mikel Arteta, his first season that he was challenging for the title, right? He went all out. He went all out attack. You know, we were so exciting going forward. We were unpredictable. We were free flowing. The next season he competed for the title. We started off, right? We started off with the handbrake on. This is last season I'm talking about right now. We started off with the handbrake on. We got to that December, January period. We went to Dubai. We came back. We put the handbrake down and we went on cruise control. We just couldn't get in as many, because when you put yourself in a situation like we put ourselves in last season, we left ourselves too far behind to catch up, right? That's what happened. That first half of the season where we were playing with the handbrake on, right? We needed a center forward to get us the wins, get us a few wins, right? The games that we drew, we needed a center forward to come in and just get us a W. Instead of a draw, get us a W. We needed that center forward. We didn't get that center forward. And by the time we kicked on second half of the season, we made runs. But listen, you can only go unbeaten for so long. You know what I mean? You can only go unbeaten for so long until it hits the fan. So right, that was the first two couple seasons. Now then came this season, right? This season has been totally different. It's been difficult. It's been tedious. It's been painful to watch. I'm not gonna lie. This season has been very painful to watch. We came out the summer transfer window. It was depressing, right? Came out of that transfer window. We started the season. All we could do was score off set pieces. And quite frankly, a lot of us said, okay, we scoring off of set pieces damn near every game now. We don't seem to be scoring any open play goals. So how sustainable is this exactly? Like a lot of us were asking these questions. How sustainable is this style of play going to be in when all you do is stay solid at the back and wait for a set piece to score, right? You're not playing the free-flowing attacking football that we've seen in the past couple of seasons. Now you've actually taken a different turn. You've taken a piece out of the Diego Simeone cake. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us were very skeptical about it, right? Especially when, okay, I'm not going to go too deep into that. So we started off slow in the season. You could see as a fan that, something is not quite clicking as it should be, whether it be the manager's decision, his game plan to sit back and be expansive, not even expansive. I said expansive, not even expansive, to sit back and just play the ball around, tiki taka. But we did that to a point that we lost our threat. The football became so slow that it was so easy to double up on Bukayo Saka. You know what I mean? It was so easy to double up on you didn't even have to double up on Martinelli because he's not been informed this season. You know what I mean? So, anyways, right? I digress. The reason I'm excited about Andrea Berto, right? When you buy cheap, you don't buy once, you don't buy twice, you don't buy three times. If anything, you might buy four times, right? When you buy cheap, right? Especially when you buy cheap average players. There's no problem in buying cheap if you got a great recruitment team that is sending scouts out and those scouts are identifying quality talent that will improve your team right then, right? This is not what Arsenal Football Club does, right? Arsenal Football Club says, okay, what do we need? We need a midfielder. Okay. Should we get Bruno Guimaraes? As a matter of fact, there's Kai Havertz over there. So you go and get Kai Havertz for 65 million. That wasn't even buying cheap. That was just buying stupid. I'm sorry. That was just plain buying stupid. So let's not get too deep into that. Then you go and buy Fabio Vieira for 35 million pounds, right? A guy that he's brought nothing to your first 11 ever since you bought him. I think it's 2-3 seasons ago now, right? Then you go out and you buy Mikel Merino, another central midfielder, after buying Havertz, Fabio Vieira. I'm not even going. Let's start talk about Lokonga. Let's not go that far. We don't want to talk about all that, right? You bring us Havertz, you bring us Fabio Vieira, then you bring us Mikel Merino. Are you trying to take a step up? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What exactly is your ambition? Because when you make signings like this, right? When you make signings like this, unproven signings that have tried to prove themselves but have fallen short in English football. I'm talking about Kai Havertz, right? And then you're gonna pay him 65 million for that guy. Come on, let's put things into context, right? Let's put things into context. Here's Andrea Berto. He will not see Kai Havertz go from Bayer Leverkusen to Chelsea, flop at Chelsea, and then say, I'm going to spend 65 million on that guy. That's the guy. That's the game changer for Arsenal Football Club. That's the guy to replace Granit Xhaka. You know, I don't believe Andrea Berto will take that kind of laid back approach from Mikel Arteta, because Edu accepted that. He was like, oh, you want Kai Havertz? Okay, fine. They want 65 million. Are you sure you want Kai Havertz? All right, fine. And he went out and got Kai Havertz, right? Mikel Arteta wanted Declan Rice, right? Man City said the highest we'll go is 85 million pounds. Mikel Arteta said, nah, you know what? I really want this guy, Edu. Please go get him. Edu was like, okay, say less. West Ham, how much you want for this dude? West Ham said, you really want him? You're the only one. We don't want to sell him, so y'all gonna have to pay more than 100. Dropped 105 million pounds only to play him out of position. Listen, I don't believe Andrea Berta. If Andrea Berta says, I have found Bruno Guimaraes, he will come to Mikel Arteta, I believe, once he's agreed terms and had that, once he agrees terms with the player, he will come and say, you know what? I have agreed terms with Bruno Guimaraes. Here's your next player. That's your star signing. And let's be honest, Andrea Berta coming into this Arsenal Football Club, he needs a star signing of his own, right? He needs a star signing of his own. So he's going to come in. I need him to come in with a quality central midfielder and a quality center forward, all right? Quality. I'm not talking Benjamin Sesko, all right? That's not quality. I don't know what he's gonna give me. He's only been around a couple seasons, so I don't know what he's gonna give me. Semi Victor Osimhen, semi Victor Gyökeres, all right? You saying Alexander Isak is too expensive, right? Show me he's too expensive. Go and bid 120 million pounds for him, right? Tell Newcastle, there's the money, 120 million pounds. Give us Isak, right? If they say no, fair enough. We know you tried. 120 is more than enough to offer, right? You offer them 120 and they say no, fair, fine, we move on. We say, okay, Victor Gyökeres, release clause. What's your release clause? It's at 100? Oh, okay, no. Y'all got a gentleman's agreement, right? So take 70 million euros and there's your new signing. Victor Osimhen, I'm sure he's still got a release clause in the summer, right? He had a release clause just like Victor Gyökeres in January. You chose not to go for him because I don't know what kind of profile of player you're looking for. You chose not to go for both Victors, all right? You chose not to go for them. You chose not to get Asensio on loan. You chose not to get Rashford on loan, right? I don't. It seems to me that Mikel Arteta does not want personalities. He does not want egos, right? He does not want mentality men. He does not want those guys in his squad, right? Anyone who would challenge him, he does not want that. Anyone who might come with a bad mood and rub him the wrong way during practice, he doesn't want that, right? But listen, you know what? Thierry Henry wasn't the best guy in the changing room, but he got things done. He had that ego. He still does. He had that mentality, right? Patrick Vieira, that mentality. Dennis Bergkamp had that mentality, all right? Robert Pires, mentality, okay? So don't tell me all you want to have is yes men in there. I can't do yes men, okay, Mikel Arteta? I can't do yes men. Right? Yes men don't win you titles, right? Of course, you need majority of your team can be yes men, fine, right? But you got to balance it out. You got to have at least 4 or 5 mentality, egotistical players in your setup, in your first 11. You got to have that mentality. You've got to have that ego, Mikel Arteta. Without that, you know what ego gives you? When the game plan isn't going according to plan, right? You get to the 70th minute, you realize, you know what? Your star player with that ego realizes, you know what? The coach's game plan has not worked. We at the 70th minute mark, we've not created much. We've not even come close to scoring. Ego will tell you, you know what? We have not even reached the level that we know we can reach, right? These tactics, the manager's tactics right now are not working. They're holding us back, in fact, right? Ego. That player, that star, that superstar with that ego, with that edge, you know what he's going to do? He's going to say, bun these tactics, all right? Just put them aside. Let's just, for these last 10 or 15 minutes, right? Let's just do what we need to do to get this win. If you're down 1 goal, let's do what we need to do to equalize, right? Fuck the tactics. Let's take matters into our own hands. Let's play football like we know we can play football. You give me my best. Let's just put this tactic thing aside. We know we're better than this. We know man for man, 11 on 11, we are better than these guys. You put these tactics aside, what do you get? You get excellence once these egos start to play, right? So you need those mentalities that will come in and they will say, you know what? We're down a goal. Let's put these tactics aside. Let's go for this goal. Get the goal. We've got that equalizer. Let's not run to the corner flag, Declan Rice, and celebrate, right? Let's grab that football. Let's hit back to the penalty, to the center circle. Let's go for that second. That's the ego. That's the reality. That's what we're looking for. Right? But Mikel Arteta doesn't want those guys. He wants yes man. He doesn't want to be challenged, all right? He doesn't want to be challenged. But anyways, that's besides the point. I know Andrea Berto is going to get that right. Because look at this. You buy cheap. You're not going to just buy it once. You're going to buy it 3-4 times, all right? Fabio Vieira, Kai Havertz, Miguel Merino, Calafiori. I don't know how many lift backs you've bought up until now, but listen, I was actually, whilst I was watching Curtis Shaw's stream earlier, dude said, I actually said to him, do you know Mikel Arteta, during his whole tenure at Arsenal, has not bought a centre forward? I mean, unless you're going to consider Gabriel Jesus a centre forward, he's not really played centre forward for Arsenal Football Club. And the man said himself, I'm not, like, goal scoring is not my forte. It's not my strength. All right. So I can't call a man like that a center forward. Right. Listen, Giroud would never tell you that goal scoring is not my forte. It's not my strength. Olivier Giroud would never say a thing like that. But the one striker you have brought in 5 seasons, one center forward in 5 seasons, Mikel Arteta says to us, scoring goals is not his forte. It's not his strength. Oh my God. You've basically never bought a center forward in your life as a manager, Mikel Arteta. Ever. Anyways, you know what? A striker for a few seasons, but instead you decided to load up on central midfield and defense. And the central midfield signings that you had, the only quality central midfield signing you made, after Thomas Partey, of course, right? I'm gonna give you props for Thomas Partey and Martin Odegaard. Odegaard is an attacking midfielder. He's not central, right? The only good central midfielder signing you made after Thomas Partey, who was a great signing, was Declan Rice. You overpaid for him, by the way, but especially considering you're playing him out of position. You overpaid for that man, right? You've only made 2 good central midfield signings. I'm not talking about attacking midfield. I'm talking central midfield, right? Merino, busted. Fabio Vieira, busted. Lokonga, busted, right? This past January transfer window, you signed Calafiori for £40 million, bro. He can't get ahead of a 17-year-old. Make that make sense for me. How are we wasting money like this? You waste money on Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, overpaid, only to play him out of position. You pay for Calafiori 40 million. Over there was Fabio Vieira 35 million. Like, bro, if you don't make these useless signings, you're not crying for a center forward right now. If you take that 40 million for Calafiori, that 35 million for Fabio Vieira, how much is that? 50, 60, 70. That's 75 million pounds, right? You take that 30 you paid for Mikel Merino. How much is that? We have 75, 85, 95, 105 million pounds. That's 105 million pounds. Where do we get another stack of money? Who else did this guy buy? Who else did I just mention? Okay, let's just leave it at that, right? 105 million pounds. If you had not bought Ooh, Kai Havertz. I have no. Let me not even put Kai Havertz in there, right? Let's just work with these guys here: Calafiori, Mikel Merino, Fabio Vieira, right? Mikel Merino 40, Fabio Vieira 75. 40 plus 35, that's 75, right? And then you take Fabio Vieira, right? Mikel Merino, Calafiori, Fabio Vieira. They add up. Those three guys add up to 105 million pounds. The same money you spend on Declan Rice. You could have taken that 105 million pounds because none of these guys are starters. None of these guys are consistent. None of these guys are difference makers. None of these three guys, Calafiori, Merino, Fabio Vieira, none of them are difference makers in our team. None of them. None of them, even off the bench, right? Right now, the only purpose that Merino is serving is we don't have a center forward. So he's filling a gap. He's not even that good filling that gap. And when you take him back to his position, he's not even that good in his own damn position, right? So that's wasted money. 105 million pounds in 2 summer transfer windows, right? Wasted. How bad did you want Alexander Isak? How bad did you want Bruno Guimaraes? How bad did you listen? Quality players are there if you make good signings, right? That's all there is to it. That's all there is. There isn't anymore. So listen, so you go 3 seasons, somewhat challenging. First 2 very successfully, right? And then the third, you put the handbrake up. You put the handbrake up, right? Third season, similarly in a title race, but just never kicked on. Set piece merchants. You make defense to figure out what you're trying to do. That's the problem. That's the problem. And I'll call them teething problems, but you're in your 5th season, Mikel Arteta, right? You're not a novice anymore. You're not a rookie anymore. In fact, 5 seasons in, I think you're pretty fucking experienced at this point, right? So I don't know. Why are we set piece merchants? Why are we seemingly going backwards? What should have been coming this summer, coming into this next summer, we only really should be needing a signing or 2. But in fact, we need a whole revamp of our squad, right? We need a whole revamp of our squad. So we can't keep on going in the same direction. Thank God for Andrea Berto. He is a breath of fresh air. Pundits are trying to give Mikel Arteta the benefit of the doubt, you know. Pundits are really trying to give this man the benefit of the doubt, you know, like, was it the recruitment that didn't provide a center forward? But how long have Arsenal Football Club been in this position to put blame on anyone else but the manager, who out of his own mouth coming out of last season was backing Kai Havertz as his top gunman for this season, right? And then you're going to have pundits saying the recruitment have not done a good job. They have not helped Mikel Arteta out. The board have not helped Mikel Arteta out. Mikel Arteta spent 105 million pounds on Declan Rice to play him out of position. I don't know how you expect the recruitment to do anything else, right? Mikel Arteta said, give me Kai Havertz for 65 million pounds. I don't know who you're trying to blame. Mikel Arteta said, give me Calafiori for 40 million pounds. These guys are not starters. These guys are not game changers, right? Mikel Arteta said, give me Mikel Merino for 35 million pounds. These guys are not game changers. But then we're going to blame the recruitment when Mikel Arteta is identifying the profile of player he wants. We want the right profile of player. And then you go out and get Mikel Merino. And then you go out and get Calafiori. And then you go out and get Fabio Vieira, right? Right profile of player? What are we actually talking about here? What is the profile? What character? Every time, you see, I need a reporter every time Mikel Arteta says we need to sign the right profile. Someone needs to ask Mikel Arteta, what exactly is the right profile of player in midfield that you're looking for? What exactly is the right profile of player in the striker position that you're looking for? What profile are you looking for? Because there's Osimhen on a release clause. You got Victor Gyökeres on a release clause. If you wanted a left winger, you got Ademola Lookman, who was very decent. I think they were quoting 55 million pound, if not 60 million pounds. I can't remember. If you paid 65 for Kai Havertz, who's done nothing, you can definitely pay 60 million euro for Ademola Lookman, who scored a hat trick a hat trick in a final, in a European Cup final. All right. So don't give me right profile and then you're going out and buying Fabio Vieira's, Calafiori's, Mikel Marino's. Man, come on. Raheem Sterling? I know that, man. I know that. Anyways, listen, I'm not gonna go too far. What I was wanting to do was take a look at this Gary Neville podcast, but actually, I think we've gone too far. I think we are 25 minutes in, people. Okay, actually, we're gonna do it. We're gonna just take a listen to this Gary Neville podcast, and then after that, it's about 16 and a half minutes, and then after that, we're gonna react to it. Whilst we watching it, we're gonna react to it, and then once we finish with that one, we're gonna go to the Super Sunday, right? Post match. There's a clip I seen of that Super Sunday post match show. We're gonna take a look at that. We're gonna react to that. These guys made some good points. They make some points as well. But listen, Lego. We gonna see what it do. And
hi everyone, it's the Gary Neville Podcast, live from Old Trafford, which is emptying now gradually after what became, in the second half certainly, Gary, a very watchable game between Manchester United and Arsenal, which was drawn. What did you make of it?
Yeah, the first half was a really strange game where United didn't offer anything and then go in at half-time 1-0 up and score the goal. Interesting how United scored in the first half and I think their performance was better in the second, and Arsenal scored in the second half and their performance was better in the first. Some of the old sort of patterns of problems for these two teams appeared on the day. I think we saw that United in the first half looked really void of confidence, didn't they? They just looked like they were waiting to get beat, but the team that were playing against them couldn't really create anything. They're recycling it really well. Some of the passing.
First of all, right there, right? The team they were playing against didn't really create nothing. This is Gary Neville. This is what Gary Neville was saying, right? The team Man United was playing didn't really create anything. Now, when you watch that first half yesterday, Man United was sitting back. They were sitting back. They were waiting for Arsenal to come forward. Now, Arsenal this season have been playing with the handbrake on. They can't break low blocks. They can't break down low blocks. They are clueless. They're clueless. Their forward play is so slow. You want to say it's meticulous, but they're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything once they get to that final third. So is it meticulous? No, it's not. It's just slow. It's tedious. It's boring, right? Quite frankly, it's boring. So Man United were basically waiting for Arsenal to hit us on the break. That's the game Man United played yesterday, and they played it pretty well. They almost got a W. All right, let's go.
From the back and through midfield to the edge of the United box was decent, but they came up against the United team that was sort of quite well organised in that 5-4-1, and they couldn't get through it. Arsenal didn't have the innovation, they didn't have the sort of one-on-one ability in wide areas, and they didn't also have, I think, a centre-forward who can make the runs alongside Manchester United centre-backs who had that sort of killer eye for goal, and Marino's doing a good job up there, sort of filling in. But it hit home in the first half, particularly when Arsenal had 70% of the ball. United didn't really attack at all until well into injury time in the first half. What a problem Arsenal have and why they're so far behind Liverpool, and it's cost them a Premier League title. And I've said it over the last few weeks. I think these players can feel let down. I think the manager can feel let down. I think they should have been supplied over the last year or so with a striker. And I'm not talking.
So you see right there, that's what I don't agree with Gary Neville, right? The players can feel let down. The players can feel very let down, all right? But what can happen is the manager cannot feel let down, because this was your recruitment. You were identifying these players. You cannot tell us all the time, right profile, and then tell us that you did not get what you wanted because you decided to spend 105 million pounds on Declan Rice, who, quite frankly, for what you're doing to him right now is not worth 105 million pounds. You play him out of position, right? If you had paid 105 million pounds to play that boy in the six, we would say okay, because we know what he can do in the six. He's quality, all right? But you're playing him out of position. How is that the correct profile? How is that the right profile? So don't tell me this guy is being let down by the recruitment, by the board, right? He's not being let down. He's picking what he wants. He told Edu, go get me Kai Havertz, right? You think Edu went out and got Kai Havertz on his own for 65 million pounds when he wanted to get Bruno Guimaraes for similar money? You think he said, let me get Kai Havertz instead, who's struggling at Chelsea, right? Don't tell me the manager got let down by the recruitment, by the board. No, he chose the profile he wanted. He chose the profile of players he wanted. He's brought one center forward in 5 years. If you want to call Gabriel Jesus a center forward, which I don't. So as me not calling him a center forward, Mikel Arteta has not brought a center forward for the past 5 years. All right. So Lego.
About a striker. I mean, striker could have got injured, but Havertz and another striker and Jesus. So for me, they've left themselves woefully short of attacking play.
Another thing, right? Left yourself short. You bought Mikel Merino in the summer. I don't know what you were trying to do with that boy. You bought Calafiori, who can't get ahead of a 17-year-old Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's playing out of position. Central midfielder playing at left back, and an actual defender can't get in, right? An international, right? Italian international defender can't get in ahead of him. 17-year-old playing his first season of first-team football. And you can't displace a 17-year-old? Why did you spend 40 million pounds on this boy then? Right? Why did you spend 40 million pounds on this boy if he can't get in front of the 17-year-old? Why? You know what I mean? Like, when we say the things we say about Mikel Arteta, we got to put things in perspective. You are wasting money, right? If you play Football Manager, right? What happens when you spend damn near your whole budget on average players in the summer transfer window? When that January transfer window comes, you don't have a budget, do you? So you can't say the board let you down because you spent your money on average players and now you need more recruitment and you don't have the money to recruit. This is Football Manager, right? If that happens in Football Manager, what do you think happens in real life, right? You have a budget for the summer. You spend your budget in the summer on average as players. The January window comes, you don't spend nothing because you don't have anything to spend because you've been spending on average at best players, right? 105 on Declan Rice, only to play him out of position where he's averaged best. 65 million on Kai Havertz, only to play him out of position because he's shit in the position you brought him in to play in, right? Mikel Merino, Calafiori, come on, man, get out of here. Let's go.
Players, they have had injuries, but you've got to plan for that. You know, the reason we had 4 centre forwards back in the day, the reason Liverpool have got 6 forwards now that can interact and play, and Darwin Núñez can come on yesterday and, you know, pick up the pieces of someone else who doesn't quite hit the form on the day, is because you need that in a season. You need to be able to call upon people and rely upon your bench and your squad. And Arsenal, I think, have fallen short, and it was more evident in the first half, I think, than ever.
I asked you this a bit in the game, and it maybe sounds like a naive question, but I do think people are interested. Merino's playing centre forward. You're willing to say he's a very, very good footballer. He's not doing anything, quotes,
he's
wrong.
He's not a good footballer.
But what is it that's missing? What does what you might call a qualified striker have that Mikel Merino doesn't have?
Well, it becomes obvious when you start to think, well, what would happen if Thierry Henry was up there, or Robin van Persie, or
good enough.
Even Lacazette and Aubameyang in the.
Listen, this guy is asking Gary Neville a very easy question, right? Okay, I'm not going to say Mikel Merino is not a good footballer. He's a very decent footballer, but he's not the level that Arsenal need right now. He's not the level that Arsenal need right now. He's not the level that Arsenal needed in the summer. He should not be at Arsenal Football Club, right? Now, what is he missing? He's missing a striker's instinct. That's what he's missing. He's not a striker. I don't know if he's ever played striker in his life, but he's not that. He doesn't know, okay, if the defender looks over here and not run that way, he's not gonna catch me once that ball comes through, right? He doesn't know if I make this run this way, Odegaard puts the ball there, the keeper's gonna make that run and I can just put it around him, right? These are strikers' instincts. Right? You gotta have a striker's instinct if you're gonna play center forward. If you're gonna put a central midfielder in the striker's position who's used to playing central midfield, he's gonna make central midfielder decisions. He's not gonna have any killer instinct. That's not what he does. All right. Anyways, let's go.
Last few years, you know, it's just basic. I mean, he's doing a job up there. He's controlling it. He's passing it wide, but he's not living on the shoulder. He's not smelling moments in behind. He's doing the basics right. He's filling in. He's not a centre forward. If you put someone up there who could link with people better, who could make runs in behind, who could score goals, whose job it is been all their lives to score goals, then you just see a direct advantage straight away. And Arsenal have needed this for a couple of years. They've been woefully short in that department, and I just don't know why they've ended up in this position. And Mourinho, look, he's doing a good job. This is not a criticism of Mourinho or any of the players. They may be able to improve in wide areas as well, but I think Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, Wanyeri, I think they're good enough. I think between them, they've got some decent wide players. I think Ødegaard's a good, off the front player. I think Rice makes good runs from midfield, and we've seen him contribute in attacking areas today. Mourinho can obviously do that as well, but they lack a focal point up top that can do the job for them.
And do you believe that is the single, or at least the single most important reason why Liverpool have got away from Arsenal?
Yeah, better attacking options. I think Liverpool don't have to play well to rely upon their front six to deliver. Liverpool can play deep. Liverpool have, in certain games, you've seen play 3 or 4 different styles. Sometimes they go direct, sometimes they'll play deep and play counter-attack. Arsenal can't even counter-attack.
You know what? That's a good point that Gary Neville makes there, and I think I touched on that, but I'm not sure. Like, Arsenal has there is no plan B, right? There is no plan B when things aren't going according to plan. There's no. You know what? Let's stop this intricate stuff that we're trying to play. Let's just go direct. There's no okay. We've been trying to pass the ball around. We can't get them to come at us. Let's inject some pace into our play, right? There's no let's play some one-touch football at pace. If we can break them down with some one-touch football, there isn't that. Everyone is at a slow, relaxed speed. Just no urgency at all.
So Arsenal can't counter-attack, and when they have the ball in possession in the final third, they can't really innovate and play through. So the 2 ways you score goals in games, three ways is set pieces, and set pieces they've been pretty good at. Weren't that great today, but set pieces they're doing well on. The other 2 areas that you mainly score goals from is when you're in possession dominating the game as a top team, or when you're counter-attacking and you can really go quickly. They find themselves always having to come back and recycle and play it across the field. And predictable, safe. They're doing a good job at times, but they need players who can interact with each other and quicken up the play in the final third, and that's what really good top players do. And Liverpool are just better in the final third than them, and the attacking metrics show that Arsenal are very good defensively, even though I thought in the second half today United, to be fair, had 3 or 4 big chances, but they still, through their goalkeeper and back 4, only concede 1 goal.
We'll tidy up the rest of the top of the table, Liverpool, Forest and City afterwards, but perhaps we should deal with Manchester United first. Was there something there to encourage you today?
A little bit. I mean, I'd like to touch on the Manchester United goal,
of course,
on the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's strange, really. I mean, Arsenal are quite a wise team, and they're usually cute. And I just thought they got. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the referees pushed them back too far, which is a mistake. But ordinarily, you would start to sense you're too far away, and you start to creep forward, and they didn't do that. And it ends up that Bruno Fernandes has that ability to play it over the wall. So I think that's something that needs mentioning.
Okay, so I'm glad he mentions that point, right? This is the problem with Arsenal Football Club, because what I realized is a lot of the fan base is blaming that goal, Manchester United's goal, on David Raya. And fair, you can say, why was the goalkeeper standing so far, but how many have in his wall? Let's just look at that for a second. You got some pretty tall guys in that wall for starters, and if you are If you're a goalkeeper, you practice set pieces. You practice your positioning for set pieces, and you base that on where your wall is, the number of players, defensive players you have in that wall, and you trust that wall to do its job. Now, when that wall is further back than it's supposed to be, and that guy whipping the ball to you has that extra yard or 2 to get it over the wall, that makes a big difference. That's when you need mentality. That's when you need a clocked up captain to be like, yo, this is not right. guys, let's just creep forward here because the ref did not do his job right here, right? He counted 10 yards, but this is more like 12, right? You creep up. If you are clever, if you actually are jacked up, if you have the mentality, right? That someone is going to recognize we are out of place here. This is not right. Something's not right. There's too much distance between this wall and that ball, right? If you practice enough, you can notice these subtle differences, right? So if you're going to blame David Raya for not saving a ball, fine, it wasn't in the top corner, but where was it? It was right over the wall. It went right over the wall where the wall should have been to block it. If the ball had been that yard closer, who knows? It probably would have blocked it because it wasn't that great a free kick. It was just good enough to get over the wall. It wasn't in the corner, nothing. All right. But when you whip it with enough pace, and it doesn't have to do that much to get over the wall, listen, goalkeeper's gonna have a hard time getting to that. Because as far as I'm concerned, David Raya was in his position. He was in his correct position. If the wall is placed properly, it does its job. David Raya doesn't need to get a hand to that ball. Ball is not going in because it's, first of all, not in the top corner. Second of all, it doesn't have the height to clear the wall. But now the wall is like a meter back, a whole yard and a half back. What are we doing?
Coming on to United, they don't like playing here at the moment. This is it's a struggle for them. There's just a sort of weight on their shoulders that exists that means that they find it difficult. But they can in moments when they get a goal, all of a sudden just rise. And you saw that. Second half, I thought they played some decent stuff. I mean, they're obviously still up against it at times with Arsenal, but they created some big moments. There's some big chances out there for United. Raya made some great saves. Højlund, again, demonstrates why he's just not quite sharp enough in front of goal. I think he could have got the shot away quicker when Declan Rice tackles him. His touch could have been a little bit to the left. But I think Ruben Amorim will be really happy with the second half. I'm just looking here at expected days. Actually, I think has been a decent few days for them. And, you know, we've got to remain calm because there were still elements of that performance which were well short. But at least they got the result and they did pick up in the second half.
Yeah, and he spoke...
A bit in terms of confidence, but you're absolutely right. They are void of confidence, and this place is huge. I mean, and have a run in the Europa League. That's going to sort of make or break Ruben Amorim's.
But 1 or 2 you did.
Yeah.
And how Liverpool deal with it, particularly in the context of their big European game this week.
I mean, look.
So look. That's that video, right? Now. I don't want to play that whole video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to the second video. This is the Super Sunday post-game clip that I want us to look at now, all right? There you go.
He was agitated, wasn't he? I mean, he's agitated walking over towards the Arsenal fans at the end, and I can see why. I know what he's saying about the first half, about how well they played. They dominated the game, but it's not line ball, where you have to basically run the ball over the 18-yard line and put your foot on it to basically score a goal. You need to put the ball in the back of the net, and he knows that better than anybody. I think Arsenal, for a couple of years, have done that really well. But the biggest inquest at Arsenal at the end of this season will be why did we not sign a striker? Now, is that because he wasn't provided with one by the recruitment team? They haven't signed one now for 2 or 3 years, and... did he not want one? Is that the answer? But they're
Surely
I don't know. It's a mystery as to how they've ended up in a position whereby it's all on Kai Havertz.
Okay. Hold on. If Arsenal found themselves in a position where 2 to 3 years, let me just say in 5 years, the only center forward, striker forward you've bought is Gabi Jesus. How have Arsenal, come on, man. Are we feeling sorry for Mikel Arteta? You spent £65 million on Kai Havertz. And £105 million on Declan Rice to play him out of position. How are we feeling sorry for this manager? You spent £40 million on, I just told y'all, 40 on Calafiori, 35 on Marino, 30 on Fabio Vieira. That's £105 million that you could have spent on a striker. None of these 3 guys are essential for your squad. None of them. Mikel Merino, you can do without. Calafiori, you can do without. Okay? Fabio Vieira, you're without. Okay? So, how are we feeling sorry for this guy who is spending money recklessly, and then come a January transfer window where he doesn't make any signings, we start looking at him saying, yo, but is he being backed? I feel sorry for this guy. You can feel sorry for the players, you can feel sorry for the fans, but don't feel sorry for the manager. He's talking about the right profile. There's Rashford out there on loan, January. He doesn't want him. Doesn't want to talk to him, right? Asensio's out there on loan. Gone to Aston Villa as well. Arteta is that not the right profile? I don't know what kind of profile you're looking for. Ivan Toney went to Saudi a season ago. Not the right profile? I don't know what kind of profile you're looking for, because he certified goals, right? Gyökeres, release clause. Ademola Lookman, out there. You could have had him for what, 50 million euros, 60 million euros? Hat-trick in a European Cup final. You're not interested. Victor Osimhen, release clause. You're not interested. How are we feeling sorry for this guy? Raheem Sterling was the profile of player you wanted. Mikel Merino was the profile of player you wanted. Calafiori was the profile player you wanted, but can't even get in front of a 17-year-old at left back. Get the hell out. How are we feeling sorry for this guy? My
Doesn't
God.
fancy Gabriel Jesus as a striker anyway. And the same stuff that we saw and seen for quite a long time now with Arsenal is that they're recycling the ball really well around the edge of the box, but they haven't got that ability to be able to cut through teams, and it's costing them.
Ultimately, Paul, is that how this season is going to be defined by Arsenal? That failure to have a striker, someone who can step in when they have suffered these injuries?
Yeah, I would have said so. I think because if you look at the games that they've, no disrespect to West Ham, Nottingham Forest and Man United, I think if they got their full team out and the three forwards playing in Saka, Martinelli and Havertz, I think they take 7 points at least out of them 3 games instead of 2. But I still don't think that's enough to have caught Liverpool. I think we're just covering over the cracks a little bit, if I'm being honest.
I agree.
I'm with Jamie. I don't think it's been great this season. I don't think they've been as dominant in football matches as what we've seen them in the last couple of years. I think
Peace merchants.
they've fallen off a little bit, in my opinion.
But is that because he hasn't had the tools?
No, they weren't playing
you
well
know
with
what?
they had all their team at the start of the season. There wasn't that efficiency or that calmness or that ability to kill teams off that we've seen in previous years this season. I thought they were so reliant on set pieces. That's obviously not working at the moment. I don't think that there's been a joy in Arsenal's play this season compared to the year before. And if you go back to the year before that, when they had Xhaka in midfield as well, I just don't see it. This year, there's been a lot of, and even with Bukayo Saka, there were games at home where they couldn't finish teams off. They haven't been at the level they have in previous years, I don't think.
And 10 draws, is it? 10 draws, you're not winning any league title with 10 draws.
So what does that come down to, do you think, Roy? Is it the makeup of the squad? Is it the approach of a head coach who has only known progress so far in his 5 years at Arsenal?
Yeah, a bit of everything, and I'm sure there would have been frustration from the last few years that they didn't get over the line or they didn't get themselves a cup or whatever it might be. And then you've the injuries, and then we saw the manager there. He certainly looks frustrated. When obviously the title was gone a few weeks ago, but he would still want his club and his team to show great mentality. To say, I still want to come here and try and keep some sort of pressure on Liverpool. But over the last 2 or 3 games, that's gone now. And we mentioned it earlier. I think the biggest concern now is what's happening with the teams behind him. They've lost that momentum for the season. I think what we saw here today was nowhere near good enough. And they've set really high standards the last few years. So on one hand, you want to give them credit, but we always say the next step is the hardest step in terms of trying to win a league title.
Well, do you think it's a matter of time, Gary, before they make that next step?
Well, maybe, but why was he so agitated when Patrick asked him that question about the striker? Normally when you see a manager act like that and he sort of walked off the... I mean, he seemed to walk off, that's what it looked like.
Maybe that's a frustration that it didn't happen. Maybe he really wanted it to happen.
But that's my point. You know, usually if you see a manager sort of... Not losing, it's going a step too far, but walk off at an interview when he's being asked a question, you normally think that something's sort of getting to them, it's coming on top a little bit. Is he sick of being asked that question? Does he think that's too simple an answer that he hasn't got a striker? But the fact of the matter is it'll still continue to be asked. The reason it'll continue to be asked is because there are hundreds of thousands of Arsenal fans who for
Asking the same
many months
question.
and years now, I've said we need a striker. It's not just, us in this studio or Patrick Davison who's asking the question. Arsenal fans, and you can't kid football fans, they know their team as well as anybody. They need a striker. They needed a top-class striker in that changing room. And I do think a top-class striker would have made a big difference. I agree with what they've said here, that actually the step up in performance. But Liverpool can not play well. And because of their options up front, can win games. Yesterday, they can be 1-0 down against Southampton. You were watching the game, Merce, on Soccer Saturday, and I was listening to you. And they can just, through moments of Diaz, Nunez, others, win games. They've got options off the bench. Mikel Arteta has not got those options.
Would you sit there with confidence, Jamie, and say that next season, OK, if they sign a striker, that Arsenal will be challenging for the title?
Yeah, they will. Yeah, absolutely. I'm confident in that. I think, but they've got to start an elite striker. And the problem is, how hard are they to find?
The crazy thing about that statement, they will. Jamie Redknapp says Arsenal quite possibly will win the title next season if they sign a striker. You know what the problem is with that? Manchester City is not in the title race this season. And they just made 2 quality signings in the January transfer window. And they're going to go again in the summer transfer window, just so they can kick on to go again for the league. They just won 4 straight. Had a hiccup this season. Next season, they will go again. Believe that. Next season, Liverpool, Arne Slot, will want to go back-to-back. Next season, Newcastle will be thinking, maybe we can. Maybe we can get closer to the title race, right? Next season, who knows? Edu's in Nottingham Forest, right? Maybe they go a gear up. So you've just gone 2 steps back because you're going to have to make some signings. You're going to have to make some signings in that summer window because you failed to make quality signings in the previous windows that you should have been. You should have been getting that one guy, quality player in who will take you over the line. You didn't do that, right? The first summer you should have did that after Granit Xhaka left. You didn't do that. You brought in Kai Havertz, right? This past summer, you should have brought someone in. Instead, you chose to bring in Merino, Calafiori for a combined £75 million. I don't know what you spent from Raheem Sterling, but good God. Oh, he's on loan, so you didn't spend much on him, just the wages. So you know what I mean? Like, it makes sense, bro.
It's incredibly difficult. No one really wants to sell their best player. They always get spoken about with Alexander Isak, who is obviously elite, because obviously you see the goals he's got and how he plays. But it's not going to be that easy. Do you think that Arsenal are going to be the only players in town, even if he were to leave Newcastle? Barcelona are talking about wanting him as well. There'll be a load of clubs that will want him. But they've got to find someone. Is it Sesko as well? They've been mentioned in trying to get. But it's just a case of, I think the guy said it earlier on, a striker. Because even though Kai Havertz has done well, they signed him as a number 8. They signed him as an extra midfield player. Then you ask him to go and be a killer in the box. And yes, he had some good moments. But is he an out-and-out striker that's going to get you 20 goals? Is he going to get you Salah's numbers? That's what they've got to try to find. And if they do, with their defensive stability, they've got a really good goalkeeper that we all like, and midfield, they will certainly go close next season.
Roy, you said the next step is the hardest. Do you have confidence that they will make this step under Mikel Arteta? No. Why not?
Like this guy.
Why would I? What makes you think they can do it? Or the manager can do it? They've got close over the last few years, and City will be strong next year. Listen, I'm sure Liverpool will be strong next year. Where's the evidence to think they can do it? Would it be get another striker in? Yeah, obviously that would help. Have they got the right mentality? Has this manager, we just seen there at the interview, getting frustrated, which is fine, because you see a different side to managers when they're winning every week. It's great. We've seen that even with Pep. But all of a sudden, when they're losing matches or they're not getting the rewards they think they deserve, they get all agitated and frustrated. And that's fine. I've been there and done it. But what is the evidence to think that if they get somebody to get 20 goals, that we'll sit there and go, well, that'll be the difference. I don't think it necessarily will be.
I suppose the evidence might be that they got 89 points last season, 85 the season before. It looks like they will fall short of this season because of the injuries they had.
Yeah, so
they get those players back and they can add to that group.
Yeah, of course, all ifs and ands. But again, do you think City and Liverpool are just going to stand still? They're going to keep looking to improve. Listen, Pep will bounce back. I think Liverpool will be stronger next year. These teams aren't going anywhere. And
what? Arne Slot? Slot didn't make any signings when he came into Liverpool. So what makes you think he's not going to want to bring his own guys in to beef up his squad, to beef up his Premier League winning squad? What makes you think Arne Slot is not going to beef up? What makes you think Arne Slot is not going to want to bring in Victor Osimhen, a Victor Gyökeres, an Alexander Isak, a Cisco? What actually makes you think that you are one player away after fucking up 2 consecutive summer transfer windows and allowing your opponents, your competitors, to catch up to you? Now, not only have they caught up, Liverpool caught up, but they went title this season without making any summer transfer window signings. I mean, you can call Chiesa a signing, but come on, he's hardly done a thing this season. So what exactly gives Arsenal football fans the confidence that next season will be the season?
We've had a bit of a dip this year, particularly Man City. We don't know what Chelsea are. We don't know what 1 or 2 other teams improving. But what's the evidence, again, from the Arteta or this group of players that they've got that mentality to challenge? We talk about it's not like challenging for a title, but to me, in my mentality, it's about winning titles, not challenging.
It feels a bit like whack-a-mole for them, really, doesn't it? Whereby they just always sort of like... the first season they didn't win, it was because they didn't have Saliba and they needed someone to back him up, so then they signed defenders. Last season it was because, so they go and sign players that, you know what I mean? It feels like they're always behind. This season it's because they haven't got strikers or attacking players, so they're going to go and say... But the other teams are still improving, as Roy says. The other teams are still getting better. So I think that it's not just about a striker, it's probably about a couple of forwards. You know, Liverpool have forwards that can play across...
options,
forward options that can play across that front line, that will score goals and chip in. Gakpo chips in. You know, Diaz chips in. Nunez chips in, Jota chips in. They all chip in with goals. Salah does more than chip in, you know what I mean? But a couple of forwards to add to that group and keep the defence and midfield as it is, they have got a chance, but are they going to get those players? And they always feels like they're one step behind.
Paul, just have the final say on this in terms of what Roy's been talking about, that perhaps Roy has a lack of conviction about them taking that next step with Mikel Arteta. What's your take on that?
I think they'll be in the title race next season. I think they've got to buy in the summer. They have to buy, and they will be in it if they keep if they don't get injured. If injuries, I said it before, if Van Dijk was out for 3 months and Salah were out for 3 months, Liverpool wouldn't be top of the league and lost 1 game. You know, they make differences. You know, you're never going to get a squad like Man City assembled over the last 3, 4, 5 years. That's never going to happen again. So you'll have to rely on players coming into the team, whoever they may be. Liverpool at the moment have got their team, and as Gary said, them forwards, that's why they're going to win the league. They've all got at least 10 goals and Salah's got 20 or 30 in him. They've got to rely on players to come into the team that are not going to be better than what they've got. And at the moment, the front three, we've got a young kid who's going to be a superstar. We've got Trossard, who really was brought in as an understudy, and a centre midfield player playing up front.
What about
would
Sterling,
never happen in any other country.
What about Sterling? I mean, Mikel wanted him in, and then he's left him on the bench for 90 minutes at Old Trafford, and they need a goal.
I thought today would have been all right. I thought it.
There it is, y'all. Raheem Sterling. You asked Mikel Arteta if he's going to make any forward signings. He said, we are looking for the right profile, right? Summer. What did he do? He brought in a Raheem Sterling who's been finished dead at Chelsea. He came through. Yet to see the best of me. What?
It's a tight game. He gets the ball and he can dribble. Do you know what I mean? He might get a nick, a free kick. And, you know, if I was Sterling now, you'd be thinking, will I be playing for Arsenal ever again?
Yeah, but the question is, you were saying, will they be in the race? I think they will be in the race.
Oh, they'll be in the title race.
Yeah, but it's no good being in the race if you're not going to win it.
Well, you've got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, but listen, we're talking about Arsenal here. Listen,
well, I haven't won the league for over 20 years.
No, that's why I'm saying. So why are we sitting here thinking, yeah, we could say that for the next 10 years they'll be in the race, but it's no good being third, fourth. Who do you think is actually going to go and win it?
Roy,
That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about small clubs here.
But I thought
Forest might finish ahead of them.
They've demonstrated, I think, last season and the season before that they've got hallmarks of a team, I think, that can go on to win the title, a little bit like the progression that Klopp made at Liverpool. And I'm disappointed in them this season that they've fallen short. When City aren't there, and I thought Arsenal would be there. And to be fair, Liverpool have had a fantastic season, but they've not delivered this season. This is the biggest problem, I think, this season for Mikel Arteta. Losing the title last season and the season before, I don't think was that much of a problem for him.
Do you think this one will hurt even?
But
This one will hurt more. This one will hurt
They were in a
more.
great
Because of
position.
what Man City
They were in a
have
great
been,
position 3 years ago. So they've been in good.
Tell you something. You know why this one will hurt more? Tell you why this one will hurt more. This one will hurt more because you came very close. So close you were going to win it, and then Saliba went down. You had to bring in Rob Holding, and then things collapsed, right? Second season challenging, last season, you started off with the handbrake on, because you thought, okay, maybe we went too hard that first season we challenged, right? You started off with the handbrake on. Things got a little bit out of sync. You got to January, you went to Dubai, you came back from Dubai, took the handbrake took the handbrake off. But by the time you took the handbrake off, it was a little too late. You dropped a little too many points. You couldn't make it up, right? You went on a run, but it was too late, right? Now this season, you just did. Nothing. There's absolutely nothing to kick on from when you're talking about next season. There's nothing.
Positions where they've had people scoring goals. And it was 2 or 3 years ago, people said, oh, they're out of the FA Cup, it's great. I'm glad they won easily in Europe during the week, because if they had a tough game coming up, they'd be saying, oh, we're getting ready for next week. They had no excuses coming to United today. Yeah. Everything was there for Arsenal to go, listen, you've had a good win during the week. You don't have to worry about next week. You can come and put a show on. And obviously United were on about like the intensity. I think there was one booking in the game. You got to turn up and flex your muscles and say, we're Arsenal, we're doing well, we're making progress, we've had a tough season, but we still do a good job on you. Didn't even do a job on United today. And United were there for the taking. United were just sitting and hoping for the best. They couldn't even do that. So why do we think next year this Arsenal team might get a striker in and they're going to win the league title? Well, I won't be putting any bets on Arsenal next year, let me tell you that. Not what I saw today.
All right, people. I think I said enough. I think I said enough before we started reacting to the videos. And when we started reacting to the videos, I think Roy Keane said more than enough, right? He said what I needed to say. So what makes y'all so sure that Liverpool won't want to go again? Man City won't go again. Chelsea will be like, what makes you think Chelsea won't get it right? What makes you think Amorim won't get it right? What makes you think Edu won't get it right in Nottingham Forest and they'll kick on? What makes you think Newcastle won't get it right? Maybe they don't sell Isak. Maybe they get some reinforcements of their own and they kick on. What makes you think you're the only ones entitled to kick on for the league title next season? That shit is not given. DBNK, y'all. Some say debunk. It is what it is. Leave us a like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Let's grow the community, y'all. Episode 2, Excalibur Clock End. It's going to be an interesting time, but at least we got Andrea Berto, y'all. We can correct things. Hopefully we can correct things in time. Peace, love, and happiness, y'all. Free Palestine.